What's happening? Welcome to On The One. My name is Cory Wong. Today we're going to do a production and mix breakdown of a tune I have called King Bozzi. It's a collaborative album between myself and the Metropole Orkest, featuring Sam Greenfield on this song. Sam and I put this tune together, added the Metropole Orkest on top, and you know, if I'm going to be honest, this is the one that the orchestra had the least involvement on the album, but also carried a lot still. Like it carried a nice role, but it just like didn't feel like it needed a ton of extra stuff. Where other tunes on the album, the orchestra really carries a lot of what it is. This one was one that was a little lighter on the orchestra's needs or whatever. As a matter of fact, I think we only recorded the strings and vibraphone. Everybody else got to hang out because Sammy G did. I still call him Sammy G. Other people don't call him Sammy G. When we met him, it was Sam played all of his stuff in. He played all the saxes, and except for we had a small section come in and do some stuff, which was Emmanuel Eckham on trumpet, Dan White on tenor sax and bari sax, and Chris Ott on trombone. So let's dive right into this tune. I'm going to tell you how I have my Pro Tools session organized and what's all going on so you understand who's involved and what's happening. Drums up top. This is how I always start with a click track up top as far as how I organize my sessions. That's the first track. And then drums. This is Petar Janic. Some percussion stuff that Sam did for his demo that he originally sent, and I just kind of tweaked some of it. Ended up keeping it in because it was nice. On bass, Vincent Garcia. Vincent's great. We're going to get back to that. Sammy G on the keys. I played the guitars. Whoops. And Sam did all the saxes. We talked about the other horns. And then, Metropole, vibraphone, and strings. And I'll talk about how I mixed and approached each of these things as I go down the line. So let's just start with the drums. Drums, people have a lot of questions about. Petar recorded these, I think, at his friend Sebastian's house in Serbia. We were FaceTiming. I was coaching him along while he was recording these. Let's go down the line. Let's hear mics. Kick in. Duplicated trigger. Trigger warning. This next one's going to trigger. CLA kick. I don't know what one that is, but whatever. It's one that I use. Kick out. Snare top. Trigger warning. We got a snare. The Screen Time snare. It's funny. Screen Time is a song that's not even out yet. But I'm already sampling the snare from it. Whatever. I just haven't solved the riddle of that tune yet. Toms. You can see in these tom tracks, people are like, what do you mean? I just clean up the tom tracks. Normally they would look like this sort of thing, but I just go through and I strip all the silence from them so that way I don't have to worry about it and I don't have to use gates. The toms, actually, obviously not the most. It feels a little weird there, but in the context of it. Because you still hear it in other mics. Hi-hat. You know what? I'm not showing you my processing. I got to show you my processing. The kick, I like to use this. This is basically what I use for a gate on everything with drums. This Oxford drum gate. Seems to work pretty well. It has some nice... It just kind of knows what to do. I don't know. When you tell it, this is a kick, it just kind of knows what to do with a kick. This one I had to shape a fair amount. The trigger, I just have its own thing. I'm not a huge fan of the clicky, top-endy kicks. But this one still has enough top end. This one I left some of it in. Snare top, tamed a couple things. Yeah. Tom. Look at that beautiful EQ on the tom. Wow, doing a lot of work. Floor tom, look at this. Like, why did I click that many times? This must be just be like something I did once. It's like, oh, never mind. I clicked, and it's like I accidentally didn't click this, so I clicked it again. Don't read into that too much. It's approximations. Hi-hat, just take out that low end, I don't need all that. Overheads. I'm guessing I was trying to take out some of this. Yeah, that's... Yeah, I was taking out some of that action there. It was annoying me in the mix. Same thing here. See, a lot of times when I'm EQing, I'm just kind of getting rid of stuff that annoys me. Like this here. Now that I'm really showing you what it is, listen to it. Okay, now here's no EQ on it. It just sounds better to me. It's like, what? That's annoying. Get rid of that. That's half of what mixing is, I think. It's like getting rid of stuff that feels annoying to create room for stuff that sounds good. Not loving the way this sounds in my ears right now. But also, it just adds a little bit of a thing when it's in with all the other ones. And why do I have these guys here? Oh, I just added an extra. That's right. Yeah, he didn't hit a cymbal there, so I just added one in. Hey! But in the end, that's what I'm saying. These drums sound freaking great to me. But sometimes it's like, certain things will just sound weird on their own, but when you put them all together, they sound nice. Let's take all the stuff off my drum sub. So, okay, I'm adding this. Hardly doing anything, but sure, whatever. I add a little bit of this punch and crunch. I do this on a lot of stuff. This punch and crunch, it's one of the presets. If you can... So the punch and crunch on its own is like this, but I'll normally go a little less. This mid side, this is another one that I use if I want things under a certain frequency to be mono. I like this mono below thing. Check it out. See, it's off. Right now it's all mono, right? Hear it down the middle. Right now everything below 142 hertz is mono. So it brings everything in the low end, it tightens it to the center, and then everything else is wide. I like that. And then the wall, this is the limiter that I use, and it's basically just to make sure that nothing's going over the edge. Tambourine and stuff, nothing special going on here. Really nothing special. As a matter of fact, not any process even. It's more felt than heard sort of thing. You hear it. No, you definitely hear that. What am I talking about? And then there's a little, there's a couple times where it needed to, I just needed to add a tambourine where it actually shakes over. Like a real person. Vincent Garcia on the bass. Are you kidding me, dude? I was like, yo, send me 2 takes. Give me one that's kind of easy, one that's a little more simple, one where you're just doing a lot of stuff, a little extra stuff. And it was just like playing Legos. Ooh, I like this. I like the simple one for this kind of stuff. I think the fills work great here. They were both awesome, but it was really, really fun to comp his tracks. If you don't know the story of how Vincent Garcia and I first started playing music together, go check out my Live in London video because I talk about it on there. I tell the story. Vincent is an incredible bass player, and I had him record this remotely from Spain. Let's see what it sounds like with no processing. What do we got here? That's a nice tone. Nice and meaty, pleasing top end too. What did I do to it? What are we doing here? Why is this plugin even on? Why are we wasting the DSP? Cory, what are you doing here, dude? Sometimes I have to, really? Really, we needed this? This must have been one of those things where, I was mix 9, and I'm just, walking through my neighborhood with the AirPods on. My neighbor's like, hey. I'm like, hey. And I'm, making mix notes in my app. I'm like, maybe the bass needs a tiny bit more top end, just the tiniest touch. Just, blow on the knob. Don't even turn the knob. Just blow on it. And I guess I must have just... This was to satisfy... sometimes I actually... When I'm a mixing engineer, I need to be the client and I need to be the mixing engineer. I'm dead serious. I will make notes while I'm listening on my AirPods and when I'm on the plane and when I'm just in the car. I'll make my notes and I'll email them to myself. And then I will, as a mixing engineer, as the person hired to mix the song, I pull up the notes from the cat and I just go down. It's a checklist. It's like, okay, the client wanted this. They wanted this. Okay, done. This. Okay, yeah. Okay, this. Sure, yeah. Okay, got it. Got it. Okay, yeah, I agree. This really tiny bit. What does that mean? Top end? I don't know. Let's just add 0.07 dB shelf up top. What are you doing, bro? Anyways, that's probably what was happening here. What's going on with this guy? What is that? Again, I can't be held accountable for some of these dots on this EQ. I just know what ends up in the end. And this... Looks like something was going on up here, though. Some sort of buzz that I was taking out. Not a lot, but doing something. I like the C4. I like the C4 on the bass. That explosive tone happening. You know what I'm talking about. The reason why I like it, it's a multi-compressor. So it compresses the different frequency ranges in different ways, as you can see in here. Rather than just taking everything down, it's just certain frequencies at certain times, which I really like. So honestly, not a lot of processing on Vincent's bass. Some nice stuff in there. This... This is fun with let's listen to this with the drums. This is fun. Let's listen to that one on its own. What do we got here? That's dope. Come on. Vincent is dope. Keys. Honestly, I just kept Sammy G's original demo keys. That's got to be that Keyscape Rhodes, right? That's Keyscape Rhodes. Nice sounding. Got that Iwi. Got the Iwi. Got the Iwi. All right, here we go into the guitars, and actually the Iwis. So this one, I kind of had a call and response sort of thing during the A sections, and I double tracked both of them, so you can hear it and see it here. Just same exact patch, same exact everything. Oh, yeah, that's... What do I use? Oh, that... Oh! That's this guy. The Echo? I don't know how you say it. Looks like Echo to me. Cool guitar. I found it at Rudy's. I had him do a whole like once over on the thing, refret and all that. Nice little guitar I've been feeling lately. Put it on this guy. A little choppy in some of it, you know, but it's on purpose. Some of the stuff I had the rhythm section stuff I made a little more tighter, edited, and chopped off to balance, because I want the strings to be that way, but sometimes the way that stringed instruments cut off, they linger a little bit, and it sounds really unnatural if you just snip them. So everything else you need to let the tail end of the lingering string thing to kind of act in the same way that a reverb does, where it just kind of gives it a little bit of tail. Where, like, strings are not a great thing for really tight stuff that needs to end fast most of the time, depending on the type of bowing technique, like this sort of thing. Like, see, even there I was cutting them off. See, I'm cutting them off, but it sounds like here's unedited. See, this is why I cut him off. Somebody's talking in there? What are you doing? If you're ever wondering why I'm making edits, that is the reason why. Oh, here we go. Here's a full take. So here's unedited. So like all those little extra noises in between, nah, I don't need any of that. So I just edit it, and that's okay. That's great. But yeah, you can hear the notes kind of linger a little bit longer than da-da-da. I want them just off, but the instrument doesn't really allow for that, which is totally fine. You want that in certain things, but... Some of those, you know, I was a little bit... See, in here it doesn't sound weird in the mix. Sounds weird cut off. Then I wanted Sammy G's Philly Cat, so I wanted to put a little bit of the It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia thing on it. So there's a couple, just to kind of give him a little Philly nod. Not that show defines Philly, but... Here, that one's unedited. That's a tangent, by the way. That whole string thing was a tangent. Yikes, here we are. Welcome to my brain. We're on the string, so let's do it. Okay, so you can hear the strings basically played that kind of role. I wanted that It's Always Sunny thing because I just thought it'd be fun. It's a nice little reference. Give homage to Sam's hometown. Some of these, like this room mic, I'm adding a lot of top end to the strings. Another room mic here. But the other strings, a lot of them is just cutting off some of the low end here. I'm going to go into the other window so you can see on the strings, the way that I'm processing these, they're all just going to a string group, and the string group is going to an effects bus, and then both of those together are going to a string bus. Okay? Sounds more complicated than it is. Some of the low end stuff, lower instruments, I'm putting a little bit of a dynamic compressor. But I've been using the Soothe too. Just to kind of soothe out the top end. Little bit of a Wolf compressor here. And then they're all going into this. An 1176. Not a lot of processing on the strings, to be honest. Pan and volume. But you can tell pretty much everything is around zero. And a lot of that is because Tom and Dirk, the engineers with Metropole, are incredible. And we spent a lot of work on the front end so we wouldn't have to at the end. Okay, so guitar processing. I'm really just kind of using the default archetype Cory Wong, except for the one thing I can tell. The compressor is off, so that means I was using the Wong compressor on the way in because I like the sound of that compressor a little bit more than this one. But pretty much, yeah, just cutting out a little bit of low end, adding a little bit of Wolf comp, and they're all going into a guitar bus. All right, there is some little breakdown action. Must we forget? Just rhythm guy in there. Stevie Ray Vaughan thingy. Little Steely Dan quote. I think I end my solo on the tune Olympia the same way. Similar way. Same structure. I mean, how many ex-guitar players solos do a... This is the thing, like guitar players are always like, oh, I do this thing all the time. It's like, wait, what? Oh, okay. Like, that one thing. It's like, it's just, I hear it as a thing that, oh, I know what I did there. Why am I saying this? This is for my own accountability. And so... Also, for those of you guitar players, no, you're not the only one. Sometimes it's like, oh, yeah, I did that thing again. I can be okay saying, I'm happy with this solo. This is one of those guitar solos. I was working on this record at a studio called Electric Garden in Brooklyn. Great studio. I love it. I was working there, working long hours, and finally I'm like pushing this guitar solo off. I'm working all this other stuff. I'm working on all these other tunes, doing all this arranging stuff. I had Chris Potter come in. Like, yeah, come in today, so that way I don't have to record this guitar solo. And finally, it got to the point where it's like, you know what? I have like an hour left at this studio, and then I have to fly home, and I still have not recorded this guitar solo. I'm realizing in this moment that I've been pushing off recording this guitar solo for the last 3 days. Why? And I'm just like, because I have like a couple guitar solos on the whole album, but I was like, why are you giving yourself all this pressure? Just like plug in and play a guitar solo. You play guitar, just do it. And I had to just force myself to be like, okay, have somebody else press record just for me to be like session guy for a second. And I did 2 takes of the guitar solo. Most of this is all take 2, except for I think there's like 3 little spots where I'm like, I don't like the line that I played there, and I took from take 1 or something. But I should have just done it right when I had it on my schedule. It's like, oh, today I'm going to do the guitar solo. There's this. I kept pushing it. I was like, oh yeah, man, I don't know. I'm kind of hungry. Oh man, I heard there's a great smoothie spot. I'm like, dude, what are we doing here? Again, like record the solo. Just do the work. What do we? Yeah. Anyways, solo. I'm about to expose myself to the public. We should not into it. I'm about to do a little expose on guitar players right now. You ever see a picture of a penguin with no hair? You ever see a picture of a raccoon with no hair? It's alarming. Okay? You're used to seeing raccoons your whole life one way. You're used to seeing a penguin one way your whole life. And then you see a picture of it without hair. And you're just like, what? What do you mean? That's what that looks like. That's what I'm about to do with my guitar tone here for this solo. Here we go. Here it is. Hairless penguin right here. Honestly, this part doesn't sound terrible. It's like this stuff in here. Not really gonna cut it, you know? But you put the plugins on. Put the Archetype Wong on it. Add a little bread. Raccoon grows its hair back out. You know what I'm saying? But that's why plugins are fun. Guess what? If you're interested in good guitar tone, boy, have I got the plugin for you. The Archetype Cory Wong plugin used on all these guitar tracks. The Cory Wong signature Stratocaster by Fender guitars used on all these tracks, except for the one where I used that Echo guitar. Go get it now. Check it out. I got a code down in the description and a link. Click it, use the code, get yourself a discount. I'm telling you right now, my favorite plugin in the world. Maybe biased, but that's not because my name is on it. It was why I'm biased. It's because I was dead set on finding a company that would go all the way to the end to really put in the work to find the holy grail clean tone for recording. And we found it. I mean, listen to this. This stuff sounds great. This is fun. Sam's sax parts. Woo! That's fun. That's really fun. Sam and I had to do a little negotiating on our panning for this one. I think he wanted like the saxes all here and then other stuff there. I just felt like I wanted it to be all one big party anchored by the bass clarinet. And by the time the other stuff comes in, like these extra back. I just wanted it to be one big party. One big party. I mean, look at the Beach Boys, you know, some of those original recordings. Now, the Soothe, I'm going to say this. By the way, these cats are not, I don't even know who, it's Oak Sound, right? That's who makes this? Yes. Oak Sound is not paying me to say this. I just recently discovered this plugin and I'm obsessed with it. So check out, here's the alto on its own. Now, Sam is, he engineers his stuff very well at home. I think he uses a Neumann 67, I think he uses a 67 at home. You can see I'm taming some of this top end here. But the other trick is, because he's playing the same horn into the same mic, it can oftentimes get into some weird sonic issues. So I'm EQing it differently. I'm putting different settings on the soothe. I'm treating it differently. So that way it kind of creates a different tone. Then with the flute also that, you can see how I'm processing this one. This is the flute on its own. Sorry. So you didn't need all that low end stuff. A little compression. Sue's actually doing work on this one. But that's because a lot of those frequencies are ones that tend to build up in a lot of these instruments, and they can be a little abrasive to some people. And then this little solo. Didn't even need to process the clarinets here. These ones are. That's the other thing, is sometimes you just got to know, like Sam engineered it well. It sounds good. Like I'm tempted to just like right now be like, yeah, but like what if we just took a little, okay, sure, whatever. And those are all these horns are going into a Sam sax bus, which is getting soothed out again. Are we negative soothing? It's just getting a tiny bit. And then some compression there. Pretty cool. And then the horn section here. Simple EQ stuff. I really softened that trumpet. Because of the saxes, I needed the trumpet to be a little more flugel-esque. So I actually took I did a lot of soothe on that one. The vibraphone is fun on this one. This is not easy. Now, really, the vibes and the horns have a different swing feel, but it works. I was just feeling that vibraphone thing in there. So I had Jochen, who helped me arrange this, orchestrate it. It's like, yo, put the vibes in there. And the student Merc is great on the vibraphone. Yeah, and that one, little bit of EQ, little bit of compression, and a plate reverb. You know I love my Valhallas. And yeah, back to the strings. Not a whole lot happening there. Again, this, you know, there's some magic happening in the master bus with some different things. I mean, I have my own version of this master bus that I got from John Fields. Brightening. But really, it's all just in the name of slamming. It's like every step of the way, can we just like make it louder and punchier? I mean, this is my rough master, so this has more compression on it than I normally do, because I took off some of this stuff to send it to mastering. But you know, it sounds fun when it's loud and punchy, right? Right? Come on. How about that? All right. Hey, thanks so much for hanging out today. I'm glad you're interested in this kind of stuff because I enjoy making this music. I enjoy sharing my process with you, and I really appreciate you being here. Hopefully you've listened to the rest of the record. If not, go check it out. What are you doing? Go check it out, and go check out more music that the Metropole Orkest has done. Check out Sam Greenfield. He's wonderful. He's amazing. He's a really good friend. Makes incredible music, and I will see you next time. Peace.